I'd like to call this meeting to order. Statement of meeting notice. Adequate notice of this meeting was given to the public 48 hours in advance of the date, setting forth a date, time, location, and type of meeting. Notice was sent to the Daily Record, the Observer Tribune, the Washington Township Clerk, and was posted on the district website at www.WTSCHOOLS.org. All please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We are now going to enter executive session for the purpose of discussing negotiations. Can I get a motion to go to executive session? Thank you. All in favor? Thank you. We will be back. Thank you, everyone, for your patience. Good evening, and thank you for attending tonight's meeting. It's certainly been a very busy month in our district with back-to-school nights, sports, fun runs, clubs, and assemblies. The PTOs and PTAs have been working hard to plan out events for the year as well as fundraisers. Please consider becoming a member of your local PTO, PTA, as these memberships help fund wonderful things for our kids. We're very excited to have with us tonight Sohan Madani, a 7th grader at LVMS, who represented Long Valley as one of the first junior golfers to qualify for the Augusta National Golf Club by winning a drive, chip, and putt event at Fiddler's Elbow Club. He then played at TPC Boston and placed second in the drive. We are so proud of this huge accomplishment. I'd also like to take a second to ask parents to review with their young drivers bus safety and traffic laws. As a reminder to all in the community, and per the Washington Township Police Department, you need to stop for pedestrians in marked crosswalks, watch for pedestrians when making a right-hand turn at a red light. Yellow flashing lights on a school bus mean slow down. They do not mean speed up because the bus is preparing to stop. Red flashing lights mean stop, and wait at least 20 feet from the bus because children are getting on or off the bus. Stay stopped until the red lights stop flashing and the extended stop arm is withdrawn and the bus begins moving. Our buses are equipped with cameras that capture license plates of vehicles whose drivers decide to pass while the lights are activated. This violation could result in a fine no less than $100, and this is also a 5-point offense. These reminders can be found on the Washington Township Police Department Facebook page. Please let's do our part to keep our children safe. And now on to Superintendent's comments.
Thank you, Madam President, and good evening, everyone. We appreciate everyone coming out this evening. For my comments this evening, we're going to have 3 different presentations. First, we're going to have an award for our champion golfer who just came in. And then I'm going to introduce Principal Peruso from Cuccinella to give us an update about some happenings at Cuccinella School the first few weeks of the school. And then I'll provide the community with a presentation update about our district goals and action plan. So why don't we begin with the award. I'd like to invite board members to join me in the front, and we're going to hand out our certificate of achievement. Thank you. So I understand, Sohan, you recently competed at TPC Boston, right? Great time. We're very proud of you for your accomplishments. One of 2 golfers in the state of New Jersey represented the regionals for the entire state in the 12, 13-year-old category. Did I say that correctly? Yeah. We'd like to invite you to come on up and accept an award. Here you go. All right, here you go. You ever need a caddy? Thank you guys for coming out this evening. Board members, I'll let you pick if you want to go back to the table or if you want to come back out here, whatever you're more comfortable with. And Principal Peruso, I'm going to turn it over to you. Thank you.
Good evening, Board of Education members, Dr. Janamian, and community members. Thank you all for coming out. So I am Principal Chris Peruso at Cuccinella School. So I just wanted to kind of give everyone quick little updates on some of the happenings that have been going on for the first month here at Cuccinella. So one of the big new programs we have is we've expanded our pre-K program. We have 3 really amazing teachers, Miss Lauren Fernicola, Miss Amanda Miranda, and Miss Vanessa Ryan. Each and every day, they take the littlest learners we have and they help them grow socially. They work on their academic success, and most importantly, they're really just helping them become future learners for upcoming school year. Each and every day, I get the honor of kind of popping into those classrooms, seeing how they're doing, and just seeing all their smiling little faces. Doesn't matter how bad of a ride I had into work, how much traffic I hit, I can see their pretty little faces, and you instantly just kind of warm up and glow. So it's been a huge success, and I really need to give some shout outs to Tanya Leinhart, our social worker, who's been helping out greatly with that program, Kellyanne Zazoro, who is one of the speech therapists that works in the program, and Dr. Scarpin, who kind of really helped get this moving over the summer. And I cannot forget all of the paraprofessionals that are working in that program, Mrs. Heath, Mrs. Levine, Mrs. Papp, Mrs. Rohrig, Mrs. Steiner, and Mrs. Twilley. They do a great job with those kids. They are a lot of energy, but they match that energy, and they're just really helping them grow each and every day. It's amazing to see how well run those classrooms are, and it's just great to see their smiling faces. I mean, I was so happy to have them coming in here, but I thought it was going to be a lot of work on my part, and this team, I'm supporting them, but this team is just taking the ball and running with it. They've just done such a great job, so I'm really happy to see how they're doing, and it's just going to help set the stage for their future learning at Cuccinella and beyond. So it's a great program. I'm glad that we can expand it, and hopefully we can continue to keep expanding this pre-K program because it is a worthwhile program. With the pre-K program also came a new opportunity for us to help out and support something that was going on at West Morris Regional School District. They have a program called the Aspire program, and it stands for Adult Student Program in Reaching Empowerment. Basically, the Aspire program helps with some of their students at age 18 to 21, and it kind of provides them with life skills and job training. This was a contact that I met through Dr. Scarpin. Her name's Megan Jaros. She's the program director at West Morris Central for this. And basically what it does is it provides opportunities for their students to get job experience. We've been able to partner up with them, and we have 3 students that come on different days. They work in different pre-K classrooms, and they do things with the teachers. They run centers, they'll do reading centers with them, they'll do crafts. Really, they're just an extra set of hands in there to help with the pre-K students, but it's also providing these older students with different job opportunities to kind of find out what they want to do with their careers and give them some ideas as to which way they want to go with their job, their employments. So here's some pictures I have of some of the students working. This was a little sorting project that they had done. But again, it's great because it helps our pre-K students. They get to work with new people, and it provides these young adults with some necessary life skills and job skills so they can kind of figure out where they want to go with their life. And it's been wonderful. The next thing I wanted to talk about is our PTO fun run. So this is the second time that I've been part of this fun run. It's been a great program that the PTO has co-sponsored with us. Our goal was to raise $20,000, and we exceeded that. We raised $23,355 in profit. The company that we partner with takes a little bit of a cut, but we still were able to make over $23,000, which is very impressive. The PTO has a couple different projects that we're partnering up on. I don't want to kind of let the cat out of the bag yet, but we have a couple of cool things that will be coming to Cuccinella. And with all the support from the community and all the members out there who help donate to it, we can't thank you enough because you're going to help us achieve those goals, so thank you very much. Next up, we have... Oh, here's just some pictures of the fun run. There I am on the ground with our pre-K kids. It gets a little dizzy. The kids do laps, and we mark off on their shirts as they do the laps. Some of those 5th graders are coming around like every 5 seconds, so you're just sitting there marking on their back. You're like, whoa, whoa, again. And then the pre-K kids are really funny because there's a bunch of teachers lined up, so they'll go to you, and then they'll just run 5 feet to the next teacher, and then they run to the next teacher. It's like, no, guys, you're supposed to go around in a lap, but it's cute, and you know, they have fun anyway. So it's a really fun program. We had some parent volunteers helping out as well. But again, we can't thank the community enough for all the money they helped us raise. So thanks again. There's some of our 5th graders. All right, Peace Day. So has been a yearly tradition at Cuccinella since it started. It's kind of evolved over the years, but on Friday, September 23rd, we celebrated Peace Day. Mr. Cerfoso was brave enough to climb up on the roof to take that aerial shot. I had to do it last year. I made him do it because he's the new guy. But Peace Day, really got to thank Mrs. McCool and Mrs. Postigo for all their efforts that they put into it. They really are the driving force behind the planning behind this, but the students throughout the day, they do different activities in their classes, talk about peace, what it means in different situations and different scenarios, and then at the end of the day, we go outside, we line up, we have a stencil of the peace flag out there, so we line up in a peace sign, and then we read some poems, sing some songs, and we all do a peace pledge where we kind of pledge to leave a peaceful and respectful existence and kind of support and share one another. So it's another success, and again, something that we're kind of trying to grow each year and add new elements into it. So it's all in all a really great day and kind of helps build that community spirit, which we're really trying to continue and support at Cuccinella. So some of the programs that our current students are doing, I kind of focused on the older students. Next time I'm here, I'm going to focus on our lower students, but currently our fourth graders are working on a coding project. And before they kind of got into the coding project, teachers led them through some activities to talk about what is responsible programming. You know, kids, they always think like, ooh, I want to be a hacker. They don't really quite understand what that entails. They're like, ooh, hacker, it sounds cool. It's like, no, that's kind of the devious end of technology. We want you guys to be responsible. So we kind of really try to teach them what it means to be a responsible programmer and talk about what digital citizenship is. So we had the students then create posters that we're posting around the school to help teach the younger students what it means to use technology responsible and to be a digital citizen in this age, because technology is all around them. It's very easy for them to kind of go down wrong path very easily, so we want to help support them and teach them how to be responsible when they're using this piece of technology, because it is all-encompassing everything we're doing today in our life, so we want them to learn how to use these things responsibly. And then we're going to move into our fifth graders. So our fifth graders, this is something that's been going on for a few years. It's our fifth grade ambassadors. It's a program that helps kind of build responsibility, leadership skills, and allow the fifth graders to give back to the school community. It's a program that they actually have to apply for a job. These are some of those jobs that they can do where they'll help out the librarian, the art teacher. Some kids come out and help out with Mrs. Erb at recess, filling up the balls, making sure all the equipment's out there for the students. We have students that help with morning announcements. We have students that help hold the doors at arrival and dismissal. We also have some students that in our morning announcements, they write book recommendations which then myself or Mr. Cerfoso will read in our morning announcements to kind of help support literacy and kind of encourage students to reach out and check out different books that they might not be aware of. And we also have a new one we started this year, is the kindergarten helpers, where select students have volunteered to kind of go into the kindergarten classrooms and help the kindergarten teachers either lead a little center, do a read aloud, help out with crafts. So it's a really awesome program. We have, I counted up, there were, I think, 54 students out of, I think we have 96 fifth graders. So almost more than half of the fifth grade class has joined up to participate in one of those roles. But again, it's really about focusing on developing leadership skills, developing responsibility, and also giving back to our school community, because some of these jobs require the kids to kind of give up some of their free time and come into school early to do things, and they're more than willing to do it. So we're great to support them, and we're thankful for it. Here's some of the girls helping out at the library this morning with Mrs. McCarthy, helping reorganize and put things away. And then the last program that I wanted to talk about was something we did in September with our fifth grade. It had all of the fifth grade teachers involved, but they did a 9/11 commemoration project where the students made their own 9/11 memorials. So kind of started off with the ELA teachers talking to the students about the events of 9/11, obviously in an age-appropriate manner, but kind of giving them a little bit of background about it, and focusing really on the memorial pool and the symbolism behind all of the stuff that the architect had used when he created the 9/11 Memorial in New York City. So then we kind of kicked it over to the science teachers, where we then used the STEM mindset, where we used the engineer and design process. So the students then had to kind of draw out and plan out how they wanted to create their memorials, and then the teachers gathered supplies, kids brought things in from home, and then they created their own little 9/11 memorials. So there's some of the boys with theirs, and I have some slides with some of the other projects that they did. But all in all, it's a great little project. Helps them, because these kids were not alive when this happened, so it helps them kind of learn a little bit about this history and why this was such an important event, and it's just something that helps kind of tie in this whole school community and help us learn from the past, so hopefully we don't make those same mistakes and we can remember the events. So those are some of the wonderful things we have going on right now at Cuccinella. And as I said, next time I'm here, I'm going to talk about our younger grades, because they're doing a lot of awesome things, but I just didn't want to take up the whole evening tonight talking about all the amazing things. So thank you all for coming out tonight, and thank you for the continued support up at Cuccinella.
All good. Thank you. Principal Peruso, again, thank you very much for coming out. Tough act to follow. We appreciate your efforts. So for our third presentation this evening, everyone, back a few months ago when we adopted our district goals for this school year, and a couple of the goals are multi-year goals, I made a commitment to the community to come back and provide you with an action plan. And then I also made a commitment that, 3 times for each school year, I would come back and give you updates about where we are with our action plan. So this evening is the first of 3 presentations I'll do during the school year. And this action plan that you see behind me will be on our website tomorrow on our district goals page. So we have 4 district goals. The first district goal is a focus on social and emotional learning across all of our grades. If you look here, the first column to my left, those are drivers. Those are some specific activities that we're looking to achieve by the end of this school year in most cases. A couple things that I want to highlight for you that we are on track for. We have launched the SEL program for the middle school called Second Step. This past week we had the first lesson, and after a couple lessons are gone through, we will get feedback from our teachers about whether or not this is a program they're comfortable with, and we do intend to survey our middle school students about the program at some point this winter. We have said since the beginning that this is a pilot program, and so we may or may not have this program long-term at the middle school beyond the school year. The program in the elementary school that we are committed to over the next several years is Responsive Classroom. Professional development has been scheduled for that program for the remainder of this year for all of our 2nd and 3rd grade teachers, and then next year our 4th and 5th grade teachers are trained, and then we have it in grades K through 5 across the district. Our second goal focuses on curriculum instruction and assessment. Several drivers here. Most of those first drivers focus on a program called Link It, which you've heard me talk about now for probably several months. We did about a 6-month build-up to make sure that we're prepared to launch Link It with this school year, and we did launch it. So throughout the school year, going back to August, throughout September, we've been providing a variety of different trainings through all of our staff on how to use this data warehousing platform to basically learn more about your students. These first few weeks of school, it's all about building relationships and getting to know your students. We now have a place where our teachers can go to get historical data about our students' achievement in math and language arts. We are also housing in the Link It platform our intervention manager program. So if teachers feel like students need additional help or additional services, they can use Link It to begin to plot out and track Tier 1, Tier 2, or Tier 3 interventions. So a lot of these initial drivers in those first few boxes are focused on the Link It program. It is also one of the aspects of our goals that's a multi-year commitment. And what we've been saying to our teachers and staff since the beginning of this school year is this will take several months for you to become comfortable with it. It's a very big platform, and over time we think it'll really have a positive impact on the overall quality of our instruction across the district. two other areas that we want to continue to update you about, and I'm going to start with that last driver there. It's a commitment to STEM. And going back to even last school year, going back to the budget process as a community, we've really done a lot to make sure we're making more investments, in particular in our elementary schools, around STEM curriculum and STEM resources. And one exciting announcement I have for you this evening is that we're now prepared to make a public commitment that we will be bringing back a STEM Expo to our district March 18th on a Saturday. And it will be sponsored by the district. For those of you that have been in the community for several years, you may remember when the juniors would run STEM fairs in the district on an annual basis. We've now brought that back into the schools. It's embedded in our curriculum, and we're going to be hosting our first STEM Expo on Saturday, March 18th. Much more to come on that, but I'm potentially putting that date out there so that you as a community can hold us accountable to that. We're really excited about bringing that back, and there's been, I know, a lot of enthusiasm around more STEM activities in our schools. Moving to goal number 3, the focus on goal number 3 has always been about communication and branding. We continue to make a lot of progress with our mobile app. Our new website has gotten a lot of visits. What we found also in tracking some of the data is that some of the pages that its peers, community members are most interested in are our faculty pages, which we're excited about. They're getting to know our teachers. And we continue to work towards making progress in getting social media accounts activated so that as we post to our website, it will also post to Facebook accounts, Instagram accounts, and so on, and Twitter accounts, I should say. Our last district goal, the focus is on facilities, finance, investment, and security. We continue to need to be very thoughtful about our budgeting process, which will launch next, the budgeting process for the 23-24 school year, which will launch next month. We still have 2 more years of mandatory reductions in state aid that we need to make sure we're being strategic about solving for, how we're right-sizing the district in appropriate ways. So that's always going to become a priority of our work in this space. And then we continue to be in discussions with Trenton about the potential of doing a referendum at some point this winter, maybe as early as next March. If we get the final approval of that in a timely fashion, you'll see more of me throughout the community, just educating the community about what would be in a referendum so that you're making educated votes about that, if it's something we do feel we can move forward with this school year. So those are some of the highlights about the action plan. By its very nature, there are a lot of details in this, so this will be posted on our website tomorrow. If upon reviewing it you have questions, just please either give me a phone call or send me an email. All phone calls and emails do get responded to, so I'd be happy to talk in more detail about any aspects of the action plan. With that, I will pause. John, if you wouldn't mind just turning this down, and then I'll invite board members to ask any questions they may have of me. Okay, any board members have questions before we move? Going once, going I'm just teasing, I'm sorry. Let me preview for you all and for the community at our November board meeting. We will have a presentation on our NJSLA student achievement data, and I will be back probably this winter for my second update on our action plan, and then I'll close out the school year with a final update. And with that, Madam President, I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you, Dr. T. All right, correspondence. Emails from A. Nesfetter and B. Madani. Committee reports. Education Committee.
Education met on October 4th. Those in attendance, Dr. Tunamian, Kelly DeMayo, Rob Waskis, and myself. Dr. T shared with the committee an update about progress being made with the implementation of the Linkit platform. Historical data has been successfully transferred to Linkit. Various training continues to be offered to staff in both large and small group forums. Indeed, a large part of our professional development time yesterday, October 10th, was dedicated to assisting teachers with the use of the platform and conducting data analysis to help them get to know their students better, which in turn will inform their instruction and planning. Our Director of Curriculum and Instruction, Debbie Russo, will present the results of the NJSLA 2022 scores through reports from Linkit platform at our November meeting. Washington Township School STEM Expo. Dr. T shared that the district plans to host a STEM Expo to formally participate in New Jersey STEM Month on March 18th at Long Valley Middle School. There will be no prizes offered, no competition. Instead, there will be about teamwork between students, educators, and families. It'll be a true community event that is a celebration and a coming together around the processes, skills, and souls of learning in today's day and age. We will celebrate the process of student work rather than the product. The process of learning and exploring the STEM subjects will be the focus, and the expo will act as a celebration around our approaches. We will register our event and officially become part of New Jersey STEM events for New Jersey STEM Month in partnership with the New Jersey STEM Pathway Network and Research and Development Council of New Jersey. We will seek feedback and creative, innovative ideas that will be used to further develop what we offer for the expo the following year. Co-teacher professional development update. Phase 1 of the professional development launched this past week across all our schools. Phase 1 involves the professional development providers setting up lab classrooms where our teachers can observe one of 6 different models of co-teaching in practice. We plan to launch Phase 2 of the professional development next month, which will include providing our co-teaching models with job-embedded coaching. NASA application. Lastly, Dr. T shared with the committee that the district is in the process of completing a proposal to NASA to be awarded an opportunity for all our students to participate in a live, in-flight education experience with astronauts on the International Space Station. The deadline for submission of the proposal is November 9th. If the proposal is successful, the district will put in place a plan where all students and staff get to participate in a once-in-a-lifetime experience.
Thank you, Carmine. Finance?
The Finance and Facilities Committee met on September 28th at 4 p.m. In attendance was myself, Kira Mitchell, Rob Waskis, Jason Kostenblatt, Liz George, and Dr. Turnamian. The first of the subjects discussed was an expansion on Patriots Path, which will be along the Flocktown-Cosman campus. The county and township are exploring enhancements to the path that abuts the school property. It has been requested that appropriate signage be put up and fencing needs to be discussed with the SRO and police regarding any school security issues. The second topic of discussion was the WTMUA easement at Cuccinella. The WTMUA is moving forward with their DEP filings to onboard the well located behind the Cuccinella property. The well will bring needed redundancy to the Schooley's Mountain water system. The WTMUA will need a permanent easement of 30 feet and a temporary construction easement of an additional 30 feet. The district will be compensated based on appraisal. The paved road to the treatment station, which will be on the front corner of the property, will be gravel from there to the well on the Smith property. There will be a locked gate to restrict access. There will be the opportunity to have trees planted at Cuccinella and other district properties, and any trees that we cannot absorb can be planted on other municipal properties. The next topic of discussion was a referendum update. We are still waiting on state approvals, although we know that the projects are currently under review, as we have had some communication from the state. If we move forward with the January date, there will be a resolution needed at the November meeting authorizing the referendum, and a resolution at the December meeting authorizing the ballot question. However, timing is dependent on receiving the letters that approve the projects and provide the dollar amount that the state will contribute to the projects. The Cosman boiler will need to be replaced next summer. Therefore, the architect is proceeding with the design and specifications for the boiler replacement so that the project can be completed in the summer of 2023. If the referendum is not successful, capital reserve money will need to be used. And lastly, we discussed an insurance plan for Chromebooks. The committee discussed the possibility of adopting a Chromebook insurance plan for future years. There was consensus that the administration should research options to be presented at a future meeting.
Thank you. Okay, we are at our public comment on agenda items only section. If you have public comment on an agenda item, please approach the microphone and state your name and your address. You will have 3 minutes to speak. Is there any public comment on agenda items? Okay. Approval of minutes. I'd like to have a motion to approve the September 13th, 2022 regular meeting minutes and the September 13th, 2022 executive session meeting minutes. Second? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Any opposed? Okay, 2 abstentions.
And I need to abstain as well. I was not there.
Thank you. 3 abstentions. It is hereby moved upon recommendation of the superintendent that the Board of Education approve the following. Education.
Education moves item 1 through 5 on the agenda.
Second? Second. Okay. Any comment? Yeah.
Thank you. We had, since the beginning of the school year, a total of 4 HIBs, 3 of which were unconfirmed and 1 which was confirmed.
Thank you. Any other comment? Roll call?
Mrs. Ruggiero?
Yes to everything except the school calendar.
Mr. Capagrosso? Yes. Mr. Kostenblatt?
Yes.
Ms. DeMayo?
Yes.
Mrs. Muserino?
Yes.
Mr. Waskis?
Yes.
Ms. Wilson?
Yes.
Mrs. Mitchell?
Yes.
Mrs. DeSico?
Yes. Finance?
Finance would like to move item number 6 on the agenda, motion to accept with gratitude the following contributions. $4,006.93 from the Municipal Alliance to be used as follows. $2,003.47 for K-5 social and emotional health. $2,003.46 for middle school emotional health.
Second? Thank you. Any comments? Okay. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Ruggiero? Yes. Mr. Capagrosso? Mr. Kostenblatt?
Yes.
Ms. DeMayo?
Yes.
Mrs. Muserino?
Yes.
Mr. Waskis?
Yes.
Ms. Wilson?
Yes.
Mrs. Mitchell?
Yes.
Mrs. DeSico?
Yes.
Finance would like to move items number 7 through 16 on the agenda.
Second?
Second.
Thank you. Any comments? Okay. Roll call.
Mrs. Ruggiero?
Yes.
Mr. Capagrosso? Mr. Kostenblatt?
Yes.
Ms. DeMayo?
Yes.
Mrs. Muserino?
Yes.
Mr. Waskis? Ms. Wilson?
Yes.
Mrs. Mitchell?
Yes.
Mrs. DeSico?
Yes. Personnel.
Personnel would like to move item number 17, motion to accept with regret the following retirement. Margaret Carberry, aide, Old Farmers Road School, effective October 1st, 2020, after 20 years of service in the district.
Okay. Second? Okay. Any comments?
Just, if I could, just to acknowledge 20 years of service anywhere is certainly something that is notable and needs to be deeply appreciated. So, Margaret, we thank you so much for the 20 years of dedication to our students and wish you all the best in your retirement.
Any other comment? Okay, roll call, please.
Mrs. Ruggiero? Yes. Mr. Capagrosso? Mr. Kostenblatt?
Yes.
Ms. DeMayo?
Yes.
Mrs. Muserino?
Yes.
Mr. Waskis? Yes. Ms. Wilson?
Yes.
Mrs. Mitchell?
Yes.
Mrs. DeSico?
Yes.
Personnel would like to move items 18 through 25.
Okay. Second?
Second.
Any comments? Okay, roll call.
Mrs. Ruggiero? Yes. Mr. Capagrosso? Mr. Kostenblatt?
Yes.
Ms. DeMayo?
Yes.
Mrs. Muserino?
Yes.
Mr. Waskis? Yes. Ms. Wilson?
Yes.
Mrs. Mitchell?
Yes.
Mrs. DeSico?
Yes. Policy, motion to read for the first time the following policy. Second. Okay. Unfinished business, any unfinished business?
May I just make a comment?
Yes, please.
Just to comment on we have one policy up for first read. It's really a very minor revision, but just to highlight for you, it's an update of a job title for our Director of Special Education Services.
Okay. Any new business? Okay, at this time, we will go to public comment. Any public comment? Okay. District distinction. So tonight's distinction is a district-wide one, and one that was started prior to the pandemic. In September 2019, I was the assembly chair for Cuccinella, and one of our moms, Tori Reed, knew that I was looking for something exciting and new to bring to the kids and suggested I look into NASA. They have a grant, as Carmine had stated, which districts apply to for the opportunity to have a live uplink session with one of the astronauts in the space station. The students are invited to ask questions during this incredible opportunity. They typically get hundreds of applications and only pick a handful. We had applied with the help of Dr. Badatori and a team of faculty and staff. Unfortunately, we did not get that grant, but COVID would have put a stop to the opportunity anyway. Now that all of that has passed us and we have a new leadership team, I shared this past work with Dr. Turnamian, and he worked with Mrs. Russo, Mr. Jones, Mrs. Gately, to pull together a new proposal for submission. We're excited at the prospect of this opportunity as the Washington Township School District aims to continue our commitment to providing high-quality STEM instruction and activities to our students. Through the development of this critical thinking and problem-solving skills, we aim to empower the next generation of leaders, explorers, and innovators. This uplink with NASA dovetails into the work that we're currently doing. ISS crew members are quickly becoming a fixture in the classrooms of Washington Township. Students have been watching NASA TV streams, and most recently, the first ever all-female spacewalk was shown in classrooms. Our students were absolutely thrilled to experience history in the making. Students felt empowered and inspired to learn about our place in the universe, especially when the crew took time to answer some of their questions on Twitter. They were even more excited to hear that we have a chance to experience a direct conversation with the astronaut from ISS. In Washington Township, we strive for a living curriculum. Learning opportunities continually evolve and act as a gateway to merge developing student skill sets with age-appropriate experiences based upon current events and application. We take pride in what the students do. We celebrate a set of practices and habits that act as a spine and connect not just the STEM subject matter, but all subjects throughout the day. No student learns in a vacuum. Through this downlink, we hope to provide another real-world connection to our students, albeit on a much grander scale than usually seen. Stay tuned on the status for this in the coming months. And with that, I would just like to thank you all for attending and get a motion to adjourn our meeting. Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Great. Thank you. Have a good night.